we also need some green and some blue food colouring. I've mixed up my cake mixes according to the directions, and I've divided the vanilla cake mix into two and added some chocolate mix. That's why it looks a bit chocolatey from the chocolate cake batter, and I've left some of that behind. Okay. So I've just kept adding until I get my desired muddy green cake mixture. It takes quite a lot of green food colouring, and I'll do the same with the blue food colouring. Okay, so the chocolate cake mix goes into our nice square pan there. Now I've added little blobby blobs of the green cake mix. And now blue blobs of the cake mix. I'm going for the jungle feel. Okay, so I've just marbled it through with my spatula, just to give it a nice effect there. And here's our cake. Looks a bit swirly. We're going to wrap it in some Glad wrap and stick it in the freezer till tomorrow. Okay, so this is our template we're going to use. This part we're going to make like a steel grey. This little bit around the dinosaur here we're going to make like a bluey marbly colour. The dinosaur is going to be like a light grey marble, and the same with this part behind the Jurassic World. And then the Jurassic World and the circle is going to be an even lighter grey marble. Okay, so while I'm waiting for my cake to defrost, I'm going to chop the top off and make it flat. In the meantime, I'm going to make the ganache to spread over the top to help the fondant to stick. So I'm going to use half of my 600ml whipped cream. So that's 300 ml of whipped cream. And I'm going to whip it. I'm going to melt 2 blocks of dark chocolate in the microwave. Okay, so when you put your cake in the freezer, it's probably a good idea to put it in flat, not like me, because it's a little bit wonky there, as you can see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the top off, now that it's defrosted a little bit, to make it nice and flat, and then turn it over so that the bottom becomes the top. What I've been doing is heating up my chocolate. I said 2 blocks of chocolate, but I only used 1. In the microwave for 30-second bursts. Right? And then mix it until it melts. And then we're going to mix it in with our cream to make the ganache. The idea of the ganache is just to help the fondant to stick a little bit. It doesn't have to be on thick, just to fill in the gaps a little bit and make the fondant stick. Okay, the top's off. Don't use a steak knife, go and buy yourself a nice big serrated bread knife. And don't eat the top either, you don't need to. So I've put my 1 block of dark chocolate in for 30-second bursts. There's still a few lumps in it, but the rest of it's quite warm. So I think I'll just wait and keep stirring it until it melts. It's been in for a total of 90 seconds. Ganache time. So we'll just mix that around while it's still warm. Now, my freezer's not like the TARDIS. You can see there's some little bumps in there where I've just kind of stuck it in. I've turned it over so it's quite nice and square. I'll fill those bumps in with the ganache so it looks flat at the end. Hopefully. Okay, so I've put some chunky bits there in the holes and I'll spread the rest around. You don't need to lick the bowl, just wash it up. Just in case you're not sure, you don't need to eat that. In fact, you could probably freeze it and use it later. So I've actually gone with 2 black fondants and 1 large white fondant. All of this was about $20 from cake shop in Castle Hill. I'm going to mix the 2 blacks with some white to get my background, which is this bit, the steel grey at the back. Okay, so I've kept a little bit of the black fondant because it never hurts to have a bit extra when you want to make another cake. I've got some black fondant, I've kept a bit of white fondant, and I've got my white fondant. Now I've got to work it until it's nice and soft and really flexible, and I can put it on my cake, make it really pliable. Okay, so I have kneaded my black and my white together to get the steel grey. I got bored, so it's not completely uniform. Now I'm going to roll it out as big as I can. Okay, so I've rolled it out. It's about 15 degrees here. It's winter, it's quite cold, so it's taken me a long time to get it soft. I've put it in the microwave for a couple of seconds just to warm it up a little bit and make it a little bit more pliable and easier to roll out. Got to make sure that your area is clean. Don't use icing sugar to dust it, obviously, because it's a dark colour, you'll see it. But I've turned it over several times just because it sticks a bit to the baking paper and you can't roll it easily. Okay, I've laid it out. I'm going to smooth it and get the air bubbles out. Okay, along the top. And these bits I can chop off. Don't throw these pieces out. We're going to use them for the next step. I've transferred it onto the cake board. Sorry, the light's not very good. I've got a little piece. Yeah, just rolling it. Just to get rid of my handprint. Let's see a handprint. My hands are clean, I assure you. Okay. Need to push this in. There are tools that you can buy, but your kid will love it, with or without all that fancy pants stuff. So when I trim this at the bottom, I'm going to keep it all and dilute it with more white to do the next part. Let's put this over here. Okay, so you just need to clean your cake board. If you're really keen, you can put some piping around between the cake and the cake board to make it finish it off. I've used my little ball and I've just picked out any little bits of white and then rolled it over to make it smooth with my little ball there of fondant. Okay, so we've done the background. The next part we want to do is the blue here, but as you can see there's this slab of wording here, so we might need to cut it. That almost looks like vegetation down there, but we might ignore that. Too hard. This bit in here we want to make blue. This bit we want to keep grey. This bit we want lighter. We're going to do this part now. So left over from my last cake I have some blue, I have some aqua, and I'm going to use a little bit of that black I kept aside. I'm going to add some white just to make sure I have enough, because I need to make quite a big circle. I have this much white left. This is the offcuts from the background that I have left as well. Okay, so there's my marble background. You can marble it more if you like. Make it your own. Put my Jurassic World on there. Okay, and I'm going to cut out. Don't throw away the offcuts, keep it. Okay, we're going to lay this, if I can get it off, onto our cake. So I'm just going to use a little bit of black and the white. I want to really make a contrast to do the something Rex and the background here, and then I'll just dilute it with even more white to do the Jurassic World and the outline, if you can see. Okay, so I've become impatient and heated some up in the microwave. 10 seconds is probably better than 20 or you'll burn yourself. This bit I'm going to square up to make the background of this square. This part will be the dinosaur. Okay, so I've mixed the dark grey from my Dominosaurus Rex or whatever it's called, and I've cut out my letters and mixed the light grey for the Jurassic World. So this I will use also for this part around here to complete it. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut out my letters from my template and I've mixed them with the light grey. Yeah? And the rest of my light grey I've made into a rope, and I'm going to roll it with my rolling pin and flatten it out to do this part, this piping along the edge. Okay, so there's my letters. Not very happy with that. That doesn't quite marry up, and I think that's because when I did that circle it wasn't quite even. My son would like a couple of Brontiosauruses there pretending to eat the Indominus Rex, but quite frankly I'm over it now. I hope he's happy. I'm sure whoever's child who does this will be happy as well. My son's 7 and he loves Jurassic World, so I think he'll be happy with my effort. I hope so anyway. I hope I've helped you with this.